Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to view my book presentation. My name is Lydia Dorsey. The book I have chosen to focus on is The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog. The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog Overview. The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog examines various cases from neglect, abuse, and other traumatic experiences. The child psychiatrist, who is Dr. Perry, identifies various mechanisms that lead into the child's behavior or response. The child psychiatrist explains the understanding of how a child's developing brain works, how children adolescents can overcome traumatic experiences, and creating meaningful connection. Lastly, Dr. Perry explains the importance and power of relationships to the therapeutic process. The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog summary. Perry, who is a child psychiatrist, recounts stories of his previous clients that encounter trauma of various circumstances. The book begins with Perry's career in the 1980s, where he encounters his first client, and expands throughout his years. Traveling to various places, Perry would meet with individual children or groups that had encountered traumatic situations and or circumstances. Each case in the book, specifically, he focuses on 11 different cases. Each case challenged him as a child psychiatrist to look beyond the label or behaviors to understand the brain's development and or the trauma response. Additionally, Perry had to look at the parent slash guardian's upbringing, external slash environmental factors, and the effects of the developmental milestones to provide the child or adolescents the proper treatment for their circumstances. The Boy Who is Raised as a Dog author's background. On the left, we have Dr. Perry. Dr. Perry is a child psychiatrist, researcher, and a teacher. He developed the neurosequential model of therapeutics, also known as NMT. This offers information on how experiences, both positive and negative, affect a child's development. Additionally, Dr. Perry teaches on how violence affects on the growing child, the effects of early experiences on the brain development, and therapeutic approaches. On the left, we have Maya. Maya is an award winning writer and reporter with the focus of science, public policy, and addiction. She works with individuals who have addictions. As a former addict, she works with others, such as psychiatrists and counselors, who want to improve the way we prevent, treat, and manage drug problems. The relevance to the work with children, adolescents, and our family's strengths is the understanding of the developmental milestones slash stages from birth to 18. Another strength is to look beyond the individual's current situation and factor into the family history, the environmental, external factors, and the community. In each case, may not lead to a successful outcome. As a counselor, it is important to understand that all their outcomes may vary, and unfortunately, not all may be successful. The relevance to the work with children, adolescents, and or families, the weaknesses. Misdiagnosis of the child or adolescents due to the lack of the therapist's ability to look beyond the label, behaviors, or triggers. Another weakness may be the effects that the trauma has on the child adolescents if not treated in a proper time or lack of intervention in the individual's later life. With the delay in treatment, it can lead to a resistance to the therapeutic experience. Relevance to work with the children, adolescents, and our families. Questions and information not included. Does the cultural factors play a major part in the child's therapeutic experience? Another question that is not included is how does the therapeutic experience go if the parents do not clearly understand the therapeutic process? What are some ways that the counselor can go about to ensure that the parent has a clear understanding of what the therapeutic process is in the outcome? The relevance of the boy who was raised as a dog to the course. The understanding the importance of relationships and meaningful connections. As Dr. Perry stated, the relationships are the agents to change, and the most powerful therapy in a human is the human love. Understanding the child's childhood attachment and the effects that it plays on personality traits. Unhealthy attachment styles can lead to common problems in a child's developmental stages. The understanding of how the brain development and the effects that it can have on developmental stages. Throughout the book, there are several cases where you can see cases where when a child's brain development is affected, how it affects their developmental milestones throughout the book. The boy who was raised as a dog, agreements or disagreement with the course. The portions of the book that I agree with is the importance of understanding the individual's past experience and external factors to help understand the child's response. For example, in the book Tina's World, a brief summary of Tina's World was Tina was molested and her mom sought counseling due to Tina's behavior. Dr. Perry looked deeper and learned that poverty and stress led to the behavior due to the external factors. Dr. Perry, uh, as the therapeutic process went, Dr. Perry worked with Tina. He, throughout the therapeutic process, he taught her several coping mechanisms. He thought that she has been successful, only to learn that the coping mechanisms helped Tina learn to cover her impulsive behaviors from adults and authority figures. So, for example, in the book Tina World, if Dr. Perry would have not considered the external factors such as poverty or impulsive behaviors, it would have led to the child being misdiagnosed or a lack of proper coping mechanisms. Additionally, when Dr. Perry was treating his clients, his approach to each client varied based on the child's exposure due to the traumatic experience. His treatment approaches included role play therapy, reenactments, medication, or etc. Each treatment approach varied based on what the child needed to build a successful therapeutic relationship between the child and counselor. The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog, Personal Thoughts. What I liked about the book, it provided insight to the different therapeutic techniques, realistic outcomes for the therapeutic experience, the resilience that children are capable of, and a deeper understanding of the impact of trauma responses on children and adolescents. My dislike about the book. I really do not dislike anything about the book. I did dislike the outcome that some of the cases had, but I understand as a counselor that not all therapeutic outcomes will be successful. My hopes for the book. What I was hoping to learn from the book is to have an understanding of how child therapy may be performed, children's resilience to circumstances, and the effectiveness of therapy. Throughout this book, I have thought of various and variety cases that have that I will use and hope to use as a future counselor. My personal thoughts continue. Helpful information. The information provided in the book will be helpful to a professional counselor because it provides knowledge on how the developmental factors it provides knowledge on how the brain developmental factors into traumatic events, an understanding of different therapeutic approaches or treatments, and the understanding of looking at the client's past history. Recommendation. I would recommend this book to others because it provides a deeper understanding of the counseling for children and adolescents and families. Additionally, I would also recommend this book for others to help them understand the effects of trauma, the effects trauma has on individuals, and the effects that will have later on in the individual's life. To conclude, The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog was an informative book that I can use as a future counselor to understand the effects that it has on the children and adolescents later on in their life. It also helps to get a deeper understanding of the therapeutic treatments and possible outcomes throughout the therapeutic process. Additionally, it provides the importance of understanding the developmental stages and the effects of the developmental stages when an individual does not get their needs met. My references. Thank you for taking the time to listen and watch my video. I hope you enjoyed